This beast beside me is the Land Rover Defender 110X, and it's the mid-level entry to one of Land Rover's largest SUVs. Like all Defenders, it's a four-wheel drive and competes with other monsters like the LandCruiser 300 series, Lexus LX and Mercedes G-Class. But does it have substance as well as style? I had it for the last week with my family to find out. This video will be split into chapters, and here are the time codes. If you see something you like, you can skip ahead or use the markers on the YouTube timeline. My written review will be at the CarsGuide website, but if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to stay on top of our latest videos. This is the mid-level entry and will cost you $150,000. This particular model had a few extra packages that bumps that up to $162,000. But the Defender does exude a particular confidence with its features and finishes that the big price tag started to feel earned by the end of my week with it. You have the chunky 20-inch wheels with the red calipers, a full-size spare, digital instrument panel, customizable camera system for varied terrains, and a supple 6-cylinder engine. If you can afford it, it's definitely worth considering. There's no doubt that this will turn heads. Seems to be a polarizing design though. I've had people make a point of coming up to me in the street and telling me what they think about it. And they either like it or they don't. But for me, it's got the classic Defender ruggedness and enough softening on the edges that it doesn't look like a brick on wheels. The exposed spare tyre, contrasting roof colour and still great look panels on the bonnet makes it look robust, solid and unashamedly like an off-roader. But there's an impression of luxury even before you get inside. This is a Range Rover, but in cargo pants. I really enjoyed getting into this every day. It's just so solid inside. I love the big heavy doors. You've got these stitched leather look dash. I even like the exposed bolts on the doors as well. I get a sense of its military roots, but the tech, the different use of materials just really push this into the realm of luxury. The storage up front is practical. You can immediately access storage just in the front dash alone, with this lower shelf here, as well as two nooks on either side of the steering wheel. The glove box and middle console are a little shallow, but the console can be refrigerated for drink storage on longer trips. You have a wireless charging pad here for a smartphone, two cup holders and one bottle holder in each door up front. You also have a USB-C and two USB ports and a 12-volt port. Now this is an odd space through here. It's large, but the entry points are awkward and narrow. I'm not quite sure if you'd be able to fit something large actually in it. The 10-inch touchscreen looks well integrated with the dash, but I found it to be a little laggy. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is always a good feature, but the built-in sat-nav was also easy to use. I love the panoramic sunroof. But with the black headliner and the black and tan leather seats, it can sometimes feel a bit dark in here. Not a bad feature though if you have pets or kids because it can hide the dirt. You have a sunglasses holder, and how practical is it that you've got this sun visor here? This rear view mirror did take a little while to get used to. You can have it in the normal mirror mode, or using this lever, you can switch it to a live video feed coming from the rear. The seats are very comfortable, electric, and have adjustable lumbar support. They also have cooling and heat functions too. There's plenty of space for the front passenger when a rearward facing child seat is installed in the back. It's quite nice back here. There's plenty of leg and headroom. I had a party this week and I had to ferry my 6'2" and 6'3" brothers around in this. Everyone was comfortable. The seats are really comfortable. They're padded. You've got heat and cooling functions on them as well. And my 5-year-old particularly liked that he had an unobstructed view out the window. You also have these hardened mat pockets, which is a good kick plate for little feet. There's plenty of amenities in the rear. You have two USB ports, two USB-C ports, as well as two 12-volt ports. Everyone is going to be able to get connected in here. You also have climate control in the back, as well as directional air vents, which is great. You have a middle armrest here with two cup holders, as well as a bottle holder in each door. I had someone sitting in the middle seat this week, but the outer seat registered that they were sitting in that instead, so we had to clip in the seat belt to stop it beeping at us. Not a big deal, but is something to note. You have 2 ISOFIX mounts as well as 3 top tethers in the rear, and I think with the right car seats you could potentially fit 3 side by side here. It was a little bit tricky fitting my car seat in here this week. I had to climb in here and the boot to secure it. If you don't move your car seat in and out a lot like I do, that might not bother you though. There's no side steps, so I did have to lift my 5-year-old into the car this week. I didn't find it hard to get in and out of, and I'm 168 centimeters. These seats are a 40-20-40 split fold, which offers versatility with cargo space and the opportunity for longer recreational equipment like a surfboard or skis. The third row is tiny, and the bench seat is hard on the backside. This feels not well suited for kids, let alone adults, but if you had to go short distances, having the extra 2 seats could come in handy. There's a cup holder on each wheel arch, air vents and heating function to keep even the third row nice and toasty. The boot space is massive. Even with the third row up, you still get 231 litres worth of space. Push that third row down and that ramps up to 916 litres worth of space. Plenty of room for large luggage or cargo. When the second and third row goes down, you have an enormous 2,232 litres worth of space. The rubber cargo floor was perfect during the recent wet weather. You have lots of amenities in the back. You have the 12-volt ports, a 230-volt port, as well as luggage anchor points, coat hooks, and shopping hooks. This side opening door isn't super practical though, especially when you reverse into a spot because it needs a wide clearance to open. The tall height of the lip does mean you need some extra lifting power with heavier cargo, but this model comes with height adjustable suspension, which means at the touch of a button, I can lower the boot. The Defender P400 that I'm driving has a 3-litre 6-cylinder turbocharged petrol mild hybrid engine. Say that 3 times fast. When you start the car, the engine growls loudly at you for a few moments before it settles. I kind of felt like it was its way of saying hello. Not gonna lie, this has been very fun to drive. The squared packaging might make you feel like the ride is going to match the looks, but this is a driver's car. You're obviously not going to zip around like you would in a hatchback, but at no point did this feel cumbersome. The steering isn't heavy and everything about the performance is solid. The ride is high and you do get some roll, but you don't feel jostled by it. There are also different terrain modes to choose from to help suit various off-road driving situations. I was a bit nervous that this would be a bruiser to park, but it was made easy with a 360-degree view camera and sensors. The sensors are a bit sensitive though and will blare out warnings to you even when you're nowhere near an obstacle, which made me stop sharply in panic the first few times I parked, but I soon got used to it. Something cool to note is the camera system because you can switch views based on driving mode. Choose on-road and it's the standard 360-degree view. Switch it to off-road and you get camera views over both front wheels, which is handy for rough terrain, and a graphic showing you real-time responses from the 4 wheels. Then there's the towing mode, which shows you the rear view from underneath the spare tyre. The official combined cycle fuel economy is 9.9 litres per 100 Ks, but I achieved 11.5 litres per 100 Ks, and that was on a mix of longer highway driving and city roads. For a turbo petrol, it did better than I thought it would, but I think you can probably attribute that to the mild hybrid engine. On short city trips, that figure will probably be higher, but I was pleasantly surprised. It's a bit thirsty, but you're not watching the fuel gauge go down in real time while you stopped at traffic. The Defender has a great lineup of all the important safety and tech features, including a curtain airbag that covers the third row. That 360-degree camera system I mentioned earlier has some really neat off-road modes as well. They add an element of safety if you do venture off the paved stuff. It has a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating and was tested in 2020. The Defender comes with 5 years unlimited kilometre warranty, which is standard for the class, as well as 5 years roadside assistance. There's cap price servicing over 5 years or 102,000 kilometres, whichever comes first, which works out to be every 12 months or a lengthy 20,400 kilometres, which is great. Servicing is capped at $2,250, which averages $450 per service, which is better than okay for the class. If you have the means to justify a Defender 110X and the price tag that comes with it, this should definitely be on the wish list. It's smooth, easy, and lush inside. I felt comfortable and safe in it, my son was excited to be driven around in it, and it fit all of my gear on a very busy week. The fuel econ did cost a point, but it earned an easy 9 out of 10 from me, and my 5-year-old gave it a 10 out of 10. If you liked this, you might want to check out Crafty's adventure review to see how it handles off-road, and our comparison between the Nissan Patrol and LandCruiser 300 series. If you're after more details, you can check out the full review at the CarsGuide site, but don't forget to hit subscribe to stay on top of our latest videos.